As a courtesy, my lord, we apologize for the slight delay. We were informed, my lord, that there was a problem regarding accused number 3 and 5. But we are told that they are now here. I think they're just bringing them up now.
3 and 5 are here. Who is not here? According to you?
I think accused number 2 will be the one who is not here. But once they've come up, we'll see who's here and who's not here. Looks like they're all here.
Yes, Mr. Roy, then let's start.
Is it this regarding Gininda?
Yes, Mr. Minister.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, I was wondering if we cannot be afforded just some few minutes to find out what the problem was before we commence with the
Yeah, I can consult. No problem.
Hello? May I address the court?
Yes, yes, sir.
My lord, in respect of accused number 2, he actually raises a complaint about Mr. Mlaudzi.
Who is Mr. Mlaudzi?
Mr. Mlaudzi is the one who is transporting accused number 2 to the prison.
Is that so? What is the complaint?
This morning, he handcuffed accused number 2 from his hands, and when accused number 2 informed him that he's not a sentenced prisoner, he's an awaiting prisoner, he said, no,
because he's fighting in court. So that's the reason why he had handcuffed him in his hands. So he told him that he was not participating in the fight yesterday, but he insisted. So therefore he requested that he should be replaced with another person who can transport him to prison if he's going to develop this attitude towards him.
So he doesn't want to be handcuffed because he says he's not a sentenced prisoner. What is the criterion for handcuffing a person?
My Lord, if they are using the iron legs,
Hello?
if they are using the iron legs, I believe there must be a distinction between a sentenced prisoner and awaiting trial in terms of handcuffing.
Is your client on bail, sir?
My Lord?
Is he on bail in other
No,
words?
he's in custody.
Did he apply for bail?
He did, then it was refused.
It was refused.
Yes.
So according to you, because he's not sentenced, therefore he's not liable to be handcuffed. What about
Yes.
safety and security considerations? They don't come into play.
My Lord, the only aspect that is relevant is the accusation of the official towards the accused, because it arises from what happened yesterday. It's not a normal cause of bringing the accused before court.
Is that all, sir?
That's all.
Mr. Baloi, what's your view?
As a court, please, my Lord, we haven't spoken to Sergeant Lauzi as yet regarding this issue, but as the court pointed out, safety is of paramount importance. If Sergeant Lauzi has identified a reason that would necessitate the accused being handcuffed, obviously he would have then taken those measures. But we want to point out, my Lord, that safety is of paramount importance. And I don't think Sergeant Lauzi would have just willy-nilly decided to handcuff accused number 2.
And the choice, alleged choice of an accused person saying, I don't want this judge Mokhachi.
Yes.
I want to be tried by Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. Well, my Lord, I don't think it's for the accused.
I'm saying it figuratively because according to Mr. Ngomezulu, this client says Mr. Mlauzi must be replaced by some other order.
Well, my Lord, Sergeant Mlauzi has been helping to transport the accused for the better part of a year and half, and he cannot just be replaced like that, my Lord, at the whim of an accused person.
We all are aware that the Department of Correctional Services is a different department from the Department of Justice, and also it's a different department from the judiciary. I don't have the authority to determine how the prisoners should be, so-called prisoners or awaiting trial persons, should be transported from their places of incarceration to court. Neither am I also seized with the authority to determine how the Department of Correctional Services should enforce their safety precautions and how also they conduct what one would term the decorum of this court having regards to what happened yesterday. It's obvious there must have been a meeting of some sort because, and I'm not prejudging anything, in the news I heard a statement being issued by the Commissioner of Correctional Services. Consequently, I'm not going to make any comment except that if counsels for all the accused can engage with the Department of Correctional Services, maybe that is the apt way of resolving this issue. And the court should not be seized with administrative issues which have no bearing to the actual court proceedings, because that's what I'm seized with, that these court proceedings should proceed in an orderly fashion. But security priorities, I think counsel for the accused can take that up with the Commissioner of Police or with the senior warder who represents the Commissioner of Police amongst the warders there. Okay. I'll leave it at that.
Mnumzana uNtanzi bekhulunywa ngawe ke la ukuthi kunesicelo ke sokuthi oqala ke ukuthi uSergeant Mlawuzi uye wafaka Nkosi ezandleni ngoba ke ekhuluma ngesehlakalo besenzeke izolo wase uyacela ke futhi wena ukuthi akashintshwe uhanjiswe omunye umuntu inkantolo ithi awunayo inawo ke lawo magunya lawo ukuthi ke uhanjiswa kanjani kwenziwani ke ngoba inkantolo ithi ke khona ke naloko kwenzekile izolo ibonile nasendabeni uCommissioner wase-Correctional Service ekhipha ke i-statement manje ke inkantolo ayingeke ke iqhabukele la engafanele ukuthi ke iqhabukele khona ukuthi ke uhanjiswa kanjani kwenziwani kwena inkantolo ayingeke ingene la manje ke inkantolo ayingeke ithathe isinqumo lapho abameli benu yibone kufanele bakhulumisane nalabo ke abaphethe ke abanihambisayo bakhulumisane baxoxe kodwa inkantolo ke izozwa kulokho hayi ukuthi kube inkantolo ethatha leso sinqumo.
Okay, Mr. Leroy.
I don't know if my other friends would like to address my other learned friends would like to address the court.
Oh, anybody wants to address the court regarding this exigence? Doesn't appear so.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. You're still under oath, Brigadier.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, please.
Brigadier Gininda, yesterday, just before we adjourned, you testified that you explained accused one's rights to him for the second time, and you wanted to establish what his election was. What happened further?
Yes, my lord, indeed, I did say that, but I also indicated that he elected to speak to me, and he also did not require the services of an attorney.
Ngishilo ke izolo ke ukuthi ngamazisa ngamtshela umsolo oqala ngamalungelo akhe wasatha ke isinqumo sokuthi ke uzokhuluma nami washo nokusho futhi ke ukuthi kwakungasona isifiso sakhe ukuthi ke kube khona ummeli.
And that, my lord, was done freely and voluntarily.
Lokho wakwenza nje ekhululekile kuyiphumela kuyena engaphoqiwe.
Yes, you may continue.
Sorry, I think there's two hands.
My lord, it seems as if accused number 5 is
Two?
And number 3.
Accused number 5 seems to be indicating that he needs to talk.
Yes, yes.
And number 3.
Thank you, my lord. There's a point that accused number 3 wishes to bring to the attention of the court, my lord, with regard to how he's actually been cuffed. He says he's feeling very uncomfortable. So I am saying to him that I would request an indulgence from the court so that he personally bring that attention to that point to the attention of the court.
What about the cuffs? Are they too tight?
He can show them to the court so that the court can make its own judgment on whether they are too tight or not.
Where's the warder who's in charge of it? Looking after accused number 3, is it?
I don't know them. I don't know who's in charge of the accused number 3.
Is that you, sir? Just attend to the cuffs there, as you normally do.
Accused number 5 is also complaining about the same situation because accused 1 and 2 are not cuffed in the same way that they are cuffed. So he's saying he's feeling very uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's the gentleman who will attend to all those queries. Is that it? Yeah, Mr. Baloyi, let's continue.
This brigadier, you can continue.
Sorry, what's wrong now, sir? You what?
I don't feel well.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
I can't hear properly when I'm cuffed as I'm seated, my lord.
You hear with your hands, in other words.
Even if I don't hear with my hands, my lord, but if I can just be free as I'm seated.
I'm not going to make an order to that effect. You heard what I said. Is that not so? Okay. You can discuss that with your attorney or advocate, and your advocate can discuss it with the Commissioner of Police. Because I don't know the safety and security measures the Commissioner of Police takes after people have fought in court. I don't know. So that's why I can't get involved in making an order about you not hearing when you are cuffed.
Uzokhuluma nommeli wakho, ummeli wakho uzokhuluma ke nosojele ngoba ke angazi ke manje ukuthi iziphi ke indlela ke eyikhishiwe noma isinqumo esithathiwe emuva kokuthi ke abantu kuliweke enkantolo. Uzokhuluma nommeli wakho yena ke abese khuluma ke nabo ke abaphethe ezasemajele.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Baloyi.
But please, brigadier, you may continue.
My lord, yes. So thereafter, I've put to him that I have a reason to believe that he was involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa.
Ngase ngimtshela ke manje ke usakhuluma ke kade ukuthi inkulumo yakhe nomsolo wokuqala ngase ngimtshela ke umsolo wokuqala ukuthi ke nezathu sokuthi ngikholwe ukuthi ke uyambandakanyeka ke ekubulaweni kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa.
His response, my lord, mounted to a confession.
Lokho awakusho kwayinto eholela ekuvumeni.
Yes.
I then asked him, obviously after the discussion, my lord, as to whether he will be willing, freely and voluntarily to make such a statement to an independent officer. and also do points out that he referred to in my discussion with him, and the answer was yes.
Ngase ngimbuza ke emuva ke kwaleyo nkulumo leyo ke ukuthi angayimisela yini noma ke angathi yini akhulumeke kumuntu ke engathi independent, umuntu oyimeleke, iofficer eyimele noma independent, futhi ke ahambe ke ayokhomba emuva kwalokho asengitshele kona. Uma ephendula ke waphendula wathi yebo.
My Lord, I then ended the discussion with him and informed him that I'll make such arrangement, where I then briefed the members who brought him to me, informed us that we'll have to make a change of arrangement, whereby we will go to the provincial office in Gauteng so that such arrangements of an independent officer could be arranged for such a confession.
Emuva kwalokho ke ngase ngiqeda ke inkulumo yami naye ke ngase ke ngiyokhulumisana nalamaphoyisa ke ayemlethile, ngibatshela ke ukuthi manje sekuzofanele sishintshe ke manje inhlelo noma ke uhlelo ke ukuthi kuzofanele sihambe siye ehhovisi lesifunda, provincial office, ukuthi ke bona ke ba-arrange ke noma benze ukuthi kutholakale ke umuntu ongahlangene necala leli uma imbiza ke kathi ke independent azohamba ayokhuluma kuyena.
My Lord, as I was driving to the provincial office, I made numerous calls to try and find someone who can assist until I got the assistance from Colonel Mboto.
Nanjengoba ngangihamba ke ngishayela ke imoto ngiya kulona ke ihhovisi lesifunda noma provincial office, ngangixhumana ke noma ke ngenza ke ama phone calls kubantu ke abahlukene, kwazi kwayisikhathi la khona ke ngithola uKolonel Mboto.
Yes, we proceed.
Colonel Mboto, my Lord, requested me to bring the accused at Diploof, or make arrangements for the accused to be brought at Diploof. That is accused number 1 at Diploof SAPS.
uKolonel Mboto wasengicela ke ukuthi ke angenzeke ukuthi umsolo wokuqala alethwe kwisiteshi samaphoyisa saseDiploof.
Furthermore, my Lord, Colonel Mboto was not privy to this investigation as he was never part of it, nor did I ever brief or worked with him previously.
Okwesibili ke ukuthi uKolonel Mboto wayengazi lutho ke ngophenyo lwalecala, nanjengoba engakaze abe yingxenye yophenyo lwalecala, futhi ke angikaze nangaphambilini ngasebenza naye.
I thereafter, my Lord, also phoned Constable Munaring from Swart to come and assist with the movement of the accused to Colonel Mboto from Eretin.
Ngase futhi ke ngixhumana naye uConstable Munaring weSwart ukuthi ke ezolekelela ke ngokuhanjiswa kwakhe umsolwa esiwa kuyena uKolonel Mboto.
When we arrived in Eretin, my Lord, the accused, or rather, when we arrived in Eretin, Constable Munaring arrived, and I handed over accused 1 to him.
Masesifika ke khona Eretin, naye ke uMunaring wase efika, ngase ngindlulisela umsolwa wokuqala, ngindlulisela kuyena uMunaring.
But prior to the handing over, my Lord, I warned him again of his constitutional rights and established, because he was not traveling with me in the same car, I was traveling alone, and established from him as to whether he still wants to continue with making a statement. The answer was yes, my Lord.
Kodwa ke ngaphambilini kokuthi ngimdlulisela kuyena uMunaring, nanjengoba ke wayengahambi nami ke emotweni, ngangihambela ngedwa mina, ngaphinda futhi ngamazisa ngamalungelo akhe anawo, uqinisekisa ke ukuthi ke usafisa yini ukuthi akhulume noma enze istatement, wathi umephendula wathi yebo.
Yes.
My lord, he was then taken he was taken by the constable to the Kloof. I think after 2 hours or so, I then received a call from Colonel Mboto informing me that he was finished taking down the confession or the statement from accused one.
Umsolwa-ke wase ehanjiswa-ke uyena uconstable emhambisela eDeepkloof. Cabanga ukuthi-ke emuva kwamahora amabili ngathola ucingo olubuya kuyena uKenel Mbotho engitshela-ke ukuthi useqedile ngaye umsolwa wokuqala.
He further informed my lord that the confession statement itself will be kept by him, and I should make arrangements to come and collect it from him directly, which I've done, I think, on the following day, my lord.
Wase engitshela-ke ukuthi-ke istatement leso noma-ke ukuvuma-ke noma kwegonululo kaloko awakwenza-ke yena-ke uKenel Mbotho uzogcina kuyena kuze kube yisikhathi-ke la mina-ke mathupha ngizoza kuyena-ke ngizosithatha. Into-ke leyo engayenza ngicabanga ukuthi ngelanga elilandelayo.
Just before you proceed, what time was it when you handed over accused number 1 to Constable Munareng at Eraton?
My lord, I'm not sure, but I know it was before 2200 hours.
Ufuna ukwazi-ke umshushisi ukuthi kwakubani isikhathi uma usudlulisela umsolo wokuqala kuyena uMunareng e-Eraton? Anginaso isiqiniseko kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi kwakungaphambi nje ukuthi kushayeke noma-ke kumbane eleshumi ihora ebusuku.
And was Constable Munareng alone when he took accused number 1 to Deepkloof police station?
He wasn't alone, my lord, but I don't remember the member of SWAT that he was with, but I do know that there were two. It was 2 of them.
Wayengayedwa-ke ngalelo langa uMunareng, angisakhumbuli-ke elinye ilunga leli-ke leSWAT, kodwa-ke ngiyakhumbula nje ukuthi babe babili.
Yes, what happened further?
So then after a few minutes, I suppose maybe 10 to 15, they then arrived back. This is now Constable Munareng with this member as well as with accused number 1. 10 to 15 minutes they arrived back.
Kwasekuthi nje emuva-ke kwesikhashana-ke ngathi-ke iyishumi noma ishumi nanhlanu-ke base bebuya-ke yena uMunareng kanye-ke nozakwabo-ke bebuyela khona e-Eraton kanye naye umsolo.
The time that you've just mentioned, the 15 minutes, it was 15 minutes after what event?
It was 15 minutes after I was talking to Colonel Mboto.
Kwakuyimizuzu-ke ewu-15 emuva kokuthi sengikhulumile naye uKenel Mboto.
Yes, you may proceed.
My lord, they handed the suspect, accused 1, to me, and I asked him if he was fine or if he had any complaint. He said he was fine, my lord, and there was no complaint from him.
Base-ke bemdlulisela-ke kumina-ke umsolo wokuqala ngambuza-ke futhi ukuthi kukhona yini akhala ngako noma khona yini anganelisekile yikona, wathi-ke cha akukho.
Yes.
I further asked him, my lord, if he would still be willing to point out the following day. I was very specific. A witch doctor that came up in our discussion, and the answer was yes, he's still willing to do that freely and voluntarily, my lord.
Ngase ngimbuza-ke ukuthi-ke ngelanga elilandelayo usayimisele yini ukuthi-ke uhambe-ke uyokhomba-ke inyanga-ke wase ngoba-ke iyona-ke eyavela-ke inkulumo esasinayo nyanga noma-ke isangoma-ke waphendula-ke wathi yebo.
I then, my lord, indicated to him that Sergeant Mohola with some of the members will come to him the following day to follow up on that witch doctor investigation, and that if he should feel that he has changed his mind or he needs assistance or legal representation or whatever concern that he may have, then he should feel free to bring it up to her attention, my Lord.
Ngase ngimazisa futhi ke nokuthi ke kulandelelayo ke uzozake uSergeant Mkhula azoqhubeka ke nalelo phenyo noma lapho kufanele ukuthi kiwe khona ke noma kuukuthi ke uma kuukuthi ngalelo langa lelo ke useshintshe umqondo ke noma ke ucabanga ukuthi khona ke nje okungamphathi kahle ke kuzofanele lokho ke noma ufune isifiso sokuthi abe nommeli noma udinga usizo lommeli akusho lokho kuyena uSergeant Mkhula.
I further, my Lord, requested the same member, Sergeant Munaring, with the crew that he was having to assist with the escort of the sergeant, the investigator, in escorting accused one to whatever that needed to be done and eventually to the detention facility.
Ngase ngimcela ke yena ke uSergeant Munaring kanye nozakwabo ke lo owayenaye ngalelo langa ke ukuthi ke balekeleleke yena uSergeant ngaloko ke okwakufanele ukuthi kwenziwe ke nokuthi ke ase abuyiselwe la avalelwe khona noma agcinwe khona.
We then parted ways, my Lord.
Sase sihlukana ke.
Did you know where accused number 1 was going to be detained?
I was informed, my Lord, that he was detained at Valeria SAPS.
Ngatshelwa ke ukuthi ke umsolo wokuqala ke wayevalelwe ke kumaphoyisa ke ase Valeria.
You testified that upon his return from the police station, he did not have any complaints. Did you see any injuries on him?
No, I did not, my Lord, and I also did not detect or pick up any sign of uneasiness or panic. It was basically, for me, in my own observation, my Lord, it was more a sign of a relief. He was looking better than when he was. Like, you know, when something has been taken off your shoulders. But other than that, my Lord, there was no sign of fear, concern, or threat that I detected when I observed him, and I also did not see any visible injuries when I was talking to him, my Lord.
Ushilo ukufakazi bakho ke ukuthi uma ebuya ke khona erathi nombuzileke ukuthi khona yini akhala ngakho ke noma engaphathekile kahle ingabe ke khona yini owabona wena ke ukuthi ke mephendula ke mina ke engabona nje ngabona ke ukuthi ke umuntu okhululekile ke futhi ke ebukeka nanjengomuntu ke manje ke osekhululeke noma osengcono ngaphezulu kwendlela ebeyiyo ngapha. Uyazi uma kunento nje esuswe emahlombe akho usuzizwa ngcono ke manje, so angazi ngibone nje noma ngalelalanga angibonanga ukuthi khona into engamphethanga kahle kukhona okumhluphayo akonke lokho angazi ngibone nokuthi ngibone ke futhi ukuthi ushayiwe.
And what time did you part ways with him?
It would have been after midnight, my Lord, may not be specific, but it was just after 12 midnight. But definitely before 12:30. It could be between 12 to 12:30, but definitely before 1. It was just after midnight.
Isikhathi ke ungathi ke wayeseshayileke u12 wasebusuku ke kodwa maybe ngathi nje phakathi ke kwakhe u12 no 12 kodwa ke engekashayi u1 uma sihlukana.
Yes, you may proceed.
My Lord, then the following day, that is now the 31st of May 2020, I received a call from Sergeant Mkhula, who informed me that they found the state witch doctor that we spoke about the previous day, and they were on their way to the office. Rather, they asked where we should meet, and I directed them to come to the same provincial office with the state witch doctor.
Ngelandelayo ke ngase ngithola ucingo olubuya kuyena ke uSergeant Mkhula engitshela ke ukuthi ke impela ke isangoma noma inyanga leyo ke bayithola ke esengibuza futhi ukuthi ke sihlangane kuphi. Ngase ngibatshela ukuthi asihlanganeke kwioffice lesikhulu noma ke provincial office naye naso ke nayo ke inyanga leyo.
My Lord, they arrived with the said witch doctor. It was in the late afternoon, early evening, and I came to know him as Mr. Lion Zwande. That is now the witch doctor.
Beza ke mina ngathi nje kwakusemini ke ilanga sino imini okay ngathi nje sekuntambama-ke yena naye-ke kwakubaba lo kwakuLion Zwane.
Just a minute. Yes.
When he arrived, my lord, when he was brought to my office, I introduced myself. I was introduced firstly, then I introduced myself to him, warned him according to his personal rights, and informed him about the purpose of our interaction. That is, his name came up on the matter before court, before this court. In other words, the matter of Senzo Meyiwa.
Nami ngase ngizethula-ke kuyena-ke ngase ngimtshela-ke ngamalungelo akhe-ke anawo ngokomthethosisekelo, ngamtshela-ke futhi nenhloso noma injongo yokuthi-ke sihlanganeke ngalelo langa lelo, nokuthi-ke igama lakhe lavela-ke mayelana nalolu daba oluphambi kwenkantolo-ke manje udaba-ke lokushona kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa.
While we were talking, my lord, at that time, accused one was then walked in. He was brought in. It was not planned, but he just walked in with some of the EMPD members into my office.
Ngaleso sikhathi-ke ngisakhuluma naye-ke uba uZwane loyo-ke kwakungasiyona-ke into eyayihleliwe, kodwa nje umsolo wokuqala wangena-ke ehamba nawo amalunga e-EMPD.
My lord, what became prudent and abundantly clear is that when Mr. Zwane locked eyes with accused one, it was clear that he knows him because he made utterances.
Kwathi-ke noma-ke into eyavele nje yagqama-ke yacaca-ke ukuthi kwathi uma kuhlangana amehlo akhe uBabuzwane namehlo akhe umsolo wokuqala-ke kwacaca manje ukuthi bayazana-ke ebesafuna ukusho bakusho, kodwa-ke umshushisi umvimbeli.
Please, my lord, we have proposed to the defense that the evidence of Mr. Zwane be incorporated in the trial within the trial. They are still mulling over that issue. We'll deal with it in due course. Yes, you may proceed.
I don't understand.
Mr. Zwane has already testified in the main trial. We've requested that his evidence be injected in the trial within the trial. And they are still contemplating that issue now.
Yes, Mr. Mgqibelo, what's your view?
My lord, it should be kept in suspense pending the discussion.
Which discussions?
That evidence that was made by Mr. Zwane during the main trial be injected to the trial within the trial.
What does the law say?
My lord, according to my understanding, the evidence that has been led in the trial, in the main trial, cannot be used in the trial within the trial.
Mr. Messi, what's your view about the proposal which allegedly you and Mr. Baloyi and Mr. Humalo and Mr. are discussing?
As it is the court, I think that this is an issue relating to accused number one.
Yeah, fine.
I think it is in the domain of accused number one, but whether or not evidence, there could be a request that particular evidence should be incorporated in a particular trial. I think there's nothing irregular about it.
There's nothing irregular?
Yes.
Mr. Munye? Sorry?
My lord, I think it is matters that rest in the terrain of accused number one, so I will have nothing to comment about.
Yes.
But in as far as the incorporation of the evidence in the main trial, there is nothing irregular, as my colleague has indicated.
You say there's nothing irregular?
Yes, there is nothing irregular, as long as the statement is in application.
My lord, our position is also the same. That evidence relate only to accused number one. It does not relate to accused number 5, so we have no comment.
Of course, you can't quote any decision. Can you quote any decision, Mr. Nisi? There's nothing irregular, Mr. Namaro and Mr. Munyeki?
No, I don't think no.
There's no decision.
It's a long-standing practice.
Nah. It's the other way around.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If a person testifies in the main trial before this court has held an inquiry as to whether there's any dispute about the admissibility of either admissions, statements, or pointing out, and the court declares that a trial within a trial should be held after the so-called gentleman Lion Zulu has testified in the main trial, I don't think you can incorporate that evidence by agreement into the trial within the trial. It's irregular. Because the injunction is that what happens in the trial within the trial should not be contaminated with what happens in the main trial. Is that not so, Mr. Baloi?
Well,
so you can recall the gentleman to come and give evidence, no problem.
Yes, in fact, that's what we're informing the defense, that it will serve no purpose to call the witness just for him to confirm what is testified about in the main trial. We can just I don't think there's anything that debars the state and the defense to agree to the incorporation of the evidence.
That is permissible.
Yes.
If you do it that way, but he must be in court and he must confirm.
Yes.
That's the evidence which he has given. He stands by it.
Yes, but if the defense then says that exercise is not necessary and they make an admission to that effect, a 220 admission.
Yeah,
I think.
No, the problem with the fine.
That will still be proper.
Because we have Mr. Ngowezu here says it can be done.
Yes, which is the proposal. We prepare the 220 admissions.
Okay, fine. You can address me later on, but I'm of the view that it's done at hearing. When it goes to the SCA, they will say, this guy, what was his motive?
And that also relates to the flocking records of accused number 2 and his leave application as testified to by Mr. Melder. So those two aspects, those two witnesses.
And what about the latter? What is this agreement?
Well, the same will apply as with Mr. Zwane's evidence.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
All right.
But once there's a meeting of the minds, we will inform the court accordingly.
Yeah, you can go bypass it by invoking Section 220.
Yes.
That
is the route that we've proposed to the defense.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Yes, Brigadier. Yeah, you can continue. You mentioned that it was, as you put it, abundantly clear that accused number 1 and Mr. Zwane know each other.
Absolutely, my lord. It was based on the occurrences that occurred between the two of them.
Nanje wasenshilo ukuthi baqapha bhake ukuthi bayazana ke umsolo woqala kanye naye ke ubabuzwane ngenxa ke yaloko okwashiwo noma okwakhulunywa phakathi kwabo bobabili.
Furthermore, my lord, it also became clear that accused 1 was making further confessions to Mr. Zwane when they were just talking as to what was wrong, why was he in that position.
Okunye futhi ke okwacaca ke ukuthi ke umsola oqala ke wayeseqhubeka ke evuma okunye uma ke manje esesho noma esekhuluma ke na ke ubabuzwana ukuthi kwakuyini ke engakaze ihambe kahle noma engazange ihambe kahle nokuthi kwakungani ke eseyithola ekulesi yasimo.
My lord, I warned him again immediately according to his constitutional rights and indicate that what he was saying, this discussion that I was privy to, can be used against him in a court of law, and the other rights that I referred to, he said he understands, but he's simply just telling the truth. But the discussion was between the two of them, my lord.
ngase ngiqhubeka futhi ke ngimxwayisa ke ukuthi manje ke ngimxwayisa futhi ngamalungelo akhe ke nokuthi ke lokhu ke manje engikuzwayo okukhulunywayo ke noma akushoyo ke kule nkulumo ukuthi kungasetshenziswa kuyena ke enkantolo ke wase ethi ke uyangizwa ukuthi nje ukhuluma nje iqiniso.
Now that's Mr. Zwane and accused number 1. Who are you referring to?
Mr. Zwane is the witch doctor, my lord. That I was referring to.
Yes, but the one that was making admissions and the one that you want in terms of constitutional right, which one are you referring to?
So, my lord, just to interject and to just put things in a correct perspective. My lord, I'm concerned about the word witch doctor. I think we should give the proper meaning because it has some defamatory elements. So let us get the literal meaning of what is a witch doctor. Because in Zulu mthakathi, which I understand.
Perhaps traditional healer will be more appropriate.
Traditional healer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Zwane said.
Yes. 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 Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Yes. Just clarify, who did you warn in terms of the constitutional rights?
Yes, my lord. So the first part, it was accused 1 making a confessions to the traditional healer, Mr. Zwane. And it is accused 1 that I was warning according to his section 35 constitutional right, my lord.
Lapha ke ngishoyo ke ukuthi manje umuntu wayeseqhubeka ke evuma ke noma eqhubeka ke nokuvuma noma ke ugonyuluka ke komunye kwakuwumsola wokuqala kuyena ke lo owumlaphi wendabuko futhi ke kwaba uyena ke futhi engiqhubekayo ke ngimxwayisa ngamalungelo akhe.
Yes, may I proceed?
My lord, thereafter I asked the said members to remove accused 1 so that I can carry on with further interviews with the traditional healer, Mr. Zwane.
Ngase ngiwacela ke amalunga lana ke ukuthi ke amkhiphe ke umsola wokuqala ukuze ke ngiqhubekeke nokuthi ngikhulumisane naye ubabuzwane.
After our discussion, my lord, it became clear that 1 can utilize him by obtaining a statement. I therefore requested my colleague, that is the head of the anti-corruption unit in Germiston, Colonel Mukame, to assist me in taking the statement from Mr. Zwane.
Kwase kucaca ke kwinkulumo yami ke naye ke ubabuzwane ukuthi ke manje sengamsebenzisa ke nanje ngofakazi ke ngase ngicela ke uza kwethu oKennel Mutlame osebenza ke eJermiston ukuthi angilekele noma angisize ke ngokuthi ke athathe istatement kuyena ubabuzwane.
My lord, he agreed. I then requested the members to take Mr. Zwane to the kennel in Germiston DPCI and thereafter take him home after such statement has been taken.
Phela ke ngase ngibacela ke amalunga lana ukuthi ke asizeke ngokuthi ke athathe ubabuzwane bamhambise ke bamikise khona ke eJermiston ku Colonel Mutlame ayonikeza ke ngaleso statement leso buse kuthi ke emuva kwalokho ke bamthathe bamhambise ekhaya.
Yes.
Indeed, my lord, such a statement was taken, and I know because then it was brought to my attention. That is, Colonel Mutlame first informed me that he's done, and the statement was brought to me. And insofar as accused 1 is concerned, I do know that he was eventually detained back at Valera SAPS after the taking of the statement.
Impela ke kwenzeka ke lokho ngoba ke wangitshela ke uKennel Mutlame ukuthi useqedile ke emuva kwalokho istatement esalethwa ke kumina nokuthi ke emuva kwalokho ke sesithathiwe ke statement umsola wokuqala ke wabuyiselwa ke khona eValeria emaphoyiseni akhona.
Just before we proceed, you mentioned that after accused number 1 made a statement to Colonel Mboto, you received this statement the following day.
Yes, my lord. In my recollection, it would have been the following day because he refused to give it to the state members for security reasons and leakages, my lord.
Impela ke ngishilo ukuthi ke emuva kokuthi uKenel Mboto esesithathile ke statement kuyena umsolo wokuqala ngasithola ke mina ke ngelanga elilandelayo ngoba ke wanqaba ke ukuthi asinikezeke amalunga ke lokho kungeyizathu nje zokuvikeleka nokuthi ke mhlambi sesinga aphuma ke manje noma sibe sobala.
I just want to show you a document which has been handed up as Exhibit FF. Can you just identify the document?
Yes, my lord. This is the pro forma that was given to me, completed by Colonel Mboto insofar as the confession that was made by accused number 1.
Lena ke yona ke iform noma lena ebizwa ngokuthi ke pro forma engayinikezwa uyena ke uKenel Mboto emva kokuthi eseqedile ke ukuthi ke umsolo wokuqala akhulume noma avume kuyena.
And it includes the same attachment that I saw when the statement was given by me. This is now the annexure to the pro forma, my lord.
Futhi ke isenale phepha nama amanye amaphepha ke lokho kubizwa ngokuthi annexure ke eyayikhona ke inkathi inikezwa mina noma amanye amaphepha la ahamba nayo ke i pro forma lena.
So God please Malota, it's almost time for the short adjournment.
Oh,
Can we then?
Okay, short adjournment.
When we broke for the short adjournment, you had just identified Exhibit FF, the confession that was taken down by Lieutenant Colonel Mboto.
Yes,
that you collected the following day. What happened further?
My lord, further than that, I do know that on the 1st of June 2020, accused 1 was taken to court for the first appearance in relation to the matter of drug dealing.
Okunye futhi ngikwaziyo ukuthi ngayo ke i1st zika June 2020 wase eyobingelela ke imantshi okoqala ke umsolo wokuqala mayela ke necala leli lasethembisa leyidakamizwa.
Just want to show you Exhibit 00. Can you just identify Exhibit 00?
Yes, my lord. It is the charge sheet for the Tembisa case 217 of 3/2019.
Sorry, iyona ke lena i-charge sheet yalo ke lecala leli lasethembisa ene case number 217 of 3/2019.
Yes. And it relates the name of the accused listed here, my lord. It's accused number 1 with the date of appearance dated 2020-06-01.
Futhi ke igama elivelayo ke lana igama lakhe ke umsolo wokuqala nosuku ke noma ke i-date awavela ngayo ku 2020-06-01.
Thank you. What happened further?
So I do know, my lord, that he was remanded back into custody and he was taken back to Valeria ACPS for further investigation.
Ngiyazi ukuthi iqala lahlehliswa ke lahlethiswa ukuthi egcineke ngaphakathi esitokisini nokuthi futhi lehlehliswa lapho ukuthi iqhubeke ngophenyo.
Yes.
Then, my lord, on the 4th of June 2020, I approached the accused number 1 in Valeria ACPS.
Ngazo i4 zika June 2020 ngaya kuyena ke umsolo wokuqala emaphoyiseni ase Valeria.
Warned him again according to his constitutional right and established if he was still willing to do the formal pointing out of the crime scene. The answer was yes, and he also indicated that he didn't need an attorney as well.
Ngamxwayisa futhi ke ngamalungelo akhe anawo ngomthetho sisekelo ke ngimbuza futhi ke kuyena ke ukuthi usafisa yini ukuthi ahambe ke ayokhomba indawo ke yesigameko noma la sehlakalo senzeka khona. Washo ke waphendula wathi yebo, washo nokuthi ke akanasifiso sokuthi ke abe khona ummeli.
Just a minute. to say you approached accused number 1 to find out if he's still prepared to make pensions out. Had he previously indicated that he wants to make pensions out?
Yes, he did, my lord, indicate that he is prepared to make the formal pointing out. The court will remember that I did mention that part as and when he was talking to the confessions and the pointing out.
Uthi-ke uyela kuyena uyombuza ukuthi usayimisele yini ukuthi ayokhomba, ingaba sikhona yini isigaba la awayeshilo khona ukuthi-ke uyimisele ukuthi ayokhomba. Yebo, inkantolo izokhuluma, wayeshilo-ke inkantolo izokhumbula futhi-ke ukuthi ngikushilo-ke lokho nkathi-ke ngikhuluma-ke ngaso istatement noma-ke i-confession awayenza ukuthi wakusho-ke lokho mayela nokuhamba ayokhomba.
Just for record purposes, just identify that occasion again when he indicated that he's prepared to make pensions out.
It was the 30th of May, my lord, 2020, when I met him at Kosoras police station in the parking lot, when I interviewed him in relation to his involvement or alleged involvement in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa.
Umshushisi uyacela ukuthi-ke abuyele emuva-ke asho ukuthi kokuyisiphi-ke isigaba la asho khona ukuthi wayemisele ukuthi ahambeke ayokhomba, ukuthi mayiphendula-ke ubrekasiye ukuthi-ke kwangelanga langeyi-30 zikaMeyi 2020 umehlangana naye umsola wokuqala ephakini-ke yey'moto khona lapho e-police station yase-Phosphorus washo-ke khona-ke ukuthi-ke uyimisele noma-ke angakwenza-ke lokho.
Okay, and proceed about the events of the 4th of June 2020 at Villaria Police Cell.
Yes, my lord. After getting the confirmation that he still wants to proceed freely and voluntarily, I then made a few calls until I got to Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe, who was prepared to assist with the pointing out.
Uma sengimbuzile-ke wavuma-ke ukuthi angakwenza-ke lokho ekhululekile engaphoqiweke, ngase ngifona-ke noma ngenza-ke ama-calls ngaze ngafinyelela kuyena-ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe owasho-ke ukuthi-ke angalekelela kona lokho.
My lord, Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe said he can assist the following day, which is the 5th of June 2020, and he requested that accused one should be detained at Alberton SAPS, where he will then make arrangements to book him out and carry on with the formal pointing out.
Awakusho-ke yena uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe ukuthi-ke angakwenza-ke lokho ngelanga elilandelayo-ke ngazo i-5 kuJune 2020, wase ecela-ke nokuthi-ke uma umsola angathathwa-ke asiwe-ke kumasel akhona-ke e-Alberton, yena-ke owayezofika-ke nje amkhiphe noma ambhuke out khona lapho abese yaqhubeka.
My lord, Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe also was not privy to these investigations. He was never part of it before. And I've never worked with him.
Okunye futhi-ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe akukho awayekwazi-ke mayelana nalolu daba noma leli cala leli, akakaze abe yingxenye noma-ke ingxenye yethimba eliphenyayo kulona leli cala, angazi futhi-ke ngisebenze naye ngaphambili.
My lord, I simply provided him with a case number and also made necessary arrangements for the photographer to be present on the day of the pointing out.
Engakwenza-ke ukuthi ngimnikeze njena-ke i-case number nokuthi ngenzeke ukuthi-ke lowo thwebula iy'thombe abe khona-ke ngelanga elilandelayo-ke uma eseyokwenza lowo msebenzi.
And furthermore, that Sergeant Mohane will be the one engaging him insofar as the movement of the accused to Alberton police station, and I communicated such to both of them, my lord.
Nokuthi-ke kwakuzoba uSergeant Mohane-ke owayezompelekezela-ke mayelana nokususa kwakhe-ke umsola khona-ke e-Alberton naye khona lapho-ke e-Phosphorus. Lokho-ke ngakusho noma-ke ngabatshela bobabili.
No. To move the accused, in other words, from Valera SAPS to Alberton SAS, yes. Then from Alberton SAPS, the colonel then will be in charge of the point.
Ukuthi-ke yena-ke uMohane owayezokwenza wayezosusa-ke umsola wokuqala e-Valeria police station amhambise amise e-Alberton police station. Lapho-ke e-Alberton kwakuzoba uyena-ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe oseyamthatha-ke umsola aqhubeke naye.
you say you communicated that those arrangements to both of them? Who are you referring to?
I'm referring to Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe and Sergeant Mukhane Marit.
Lokho ke ngakhuluma kubona ke bobabili ukuthi ke uMukhane yena wayezosusa umsola evelele amse Albertine bese Albertine yaqhubeka uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe ngatshela bona bobabili uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe kanye naye uSergeant Mukhane.
Yes, you may proceed.
My Lord, then on the 5th, I do know the 5th of June 2020 that such pointing out were done, concluded, and I was informed later by Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe that indeed they finalized the pointing outs.
Engikwaziyo ke noma ngiyakwazi ke ukuthi ngazo i5 June 2020 i-pointing out noma ke ukhomba lokho kwenzeka futhi ke ngatshelwa ke uyena ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe ke ukuthi wakwenza lokho baqeda ngalelo langa lelo.
I later also received the form, my Lord, of the formal pointing out, and also at a later stage received the photo album of the said pointing out. In other words, in relation to the photos that were taken of the accused and the scenes that he pointed, my Lord.
Ngathola ke iform leyo ke iform lena ke eyayibhalwa uyena ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe mayelana nalokho okwenzeka ke ngalelo langa ngase ngithola futhi ke nealbum yazo izithombe lezo ke ezathwetshula ngalelo langa zakhe umsolwa kanye nala akhomba khona.
When did you receive the pro forma notes on pointings out and the photo album?
My Lord, the photo album was at a much later stage, but it was not prepared on that day, and the pro forma could have been the day or after as well, my Lord, from the day of the pointing out.
Iy'thombe zona ngiyazi ke ukuthi ke kwathatha isikhathi noma kwaba isikhathi ukuze ngithole ngoba ke zazingaqediwe ke zingalungisiwe ke ngaleso sikhathi leso kodwa ke yona ke iproforma ke yona ke noma ke le form lena ke yona ke egcwaliswa uyena uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe kungenzeka ukuthi ngayithola ngalelo langa noma ngelanga elilandelayo.
I just want to show you a document which has been handed up as Exhibit GG. Just identify the document.
Yes, my Lord, I have it in front of me.
Yes, can you just identify it?
So, yes, so the form... Yes, my Lord, it is the pro forma that was given to me together with the written notes made by Colonel Hadebe, Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe, except this part, the statement of Captain Nailana. It was not part of the pro forma given to me. Yes.
Ilona ke nje lena yona ke eka Captain Nailana yangasiyona ke ingxenye yale form ke kodwa yona ke le yona iperforma kanye ke nama notes enziwa uyena ke uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe.
Just want to show you a photo album that has been handed up as Exhibit GG1. Can you just identify that for me?
Yes, my Lord, it is the photo album of accused number 1 in relation to the pointing out, but it seems to be incomplete, my Lord.
Yona ke lena photo album yakhe ke umsolo oqala mayelana ke ne pointing out noma ke uyokhomba kodwa kuke ngathi ke ayiphelele.
Yes, photos of the pointings out are not yet before court.
Oh, it's okay, understood, my Lord. Yes, this is part of
certain photos.
Indeed, my Lord, it is then part of the album that I received.
Ngiyamtshela ke umshushisi ukuthi ke iy'thombe ke zayo ke pointing out azikabi yona ke ingxenye noma ke azikabi phambi kwayo inkantolo yavuma-ke ukuthi yebo ingxenye ke lena yazo iy'thombe zayo i-pointing out yalelana.
And the person depicted there, my Lord, it is accused number 1.
Futhi ke nomuntu ke olana ke kule y'thombe uyena umsolo wokuqala.
Yes, then what happened further?
My Lord, that was basically the circumstances surrounding the pointing out and confession. What I then did, I went to Valeria police station and I think also Albertine police station to obtain the copies of the OBs as part of the investigations and attach them on the docket, which such was disclosed to the defense.
Kwaba ilokho ke mayelana ke nayo ke the confession kanye ke nama pointing out engase ngikwenza ke umuva kwalokho ukuthi ke ngiyeke kwi-police station yaseValeria kanye futhi ke nase-Albertine ngiyothola ke amakhophi ke ezincwadi lezi ezisetshenziswayo ezibizwa ngokuthi ke ama-OB khona laphayana ke e-police station noma ema-police station ngase ke nginamathela ke kulona ke idokodo nalokho futhi ukuthi lokho futhi noma lawo ma-OB lawo ke anikezwa ke kubameli.
My Lord, in those entries, it is clearly indicated that the accused in all material times was free of injuries, never complains of any assault, illness, or anything irregular during his booking in and booking out, as well as during the regular sales visit by the members that were on duty. But on top of it, my Lord, there were also visits by officers who were on duty randomly. And even in those times, my Lord, there was no complaint articulated on the OBs.
Laphayana ke kula makhophi alama OB noma le ncwadi ke ebhalwayo ke khona ema-police station kuyacaca ke ukuthi ke akukho la khona ke ashoyo ke khona ke akhala khona ke ukuthi ke kukho wayengaphethekile kahle washaywa ke nokuthi futhi ke labo ababesebenza ke khona lapho babe abantu abamane beyovela ke alikho ke ihlandla la khona ke ashilo ke khona ukuthi ulimele ushayiwe akukho nje la kuvela khona namabhalo khona lokho.
Were the OB entries also obtained from Diepkloof police station?
There was one that was, yes, there was an entry obtained in relation to an entry that was made by Colonel Mboto, to say basically took the confession from accused number 1, but it was not a detention, it's just an entry that proves that he was there, and he then took a confession from him.
Khona ke nase-Diepkloof la khona ke uKenan Mboto abhala khona ke ukuthi nje yebo wayethatha ke i-statement noma ke i-confession kuyena umsolo wokuqala yona ke yayingakhulumi ke ngokuthi ke wayegcinwe lapho ngokuthi nje kwakuwuchaza noma ke uqinisekisa ukuthi wayekhona lapho umsolo wokuqala nokuthi wathatha ke lo confession kuyena.
But even on that OB, my Lord, from Diepkloof, there was no entry indicating a complaint or something unusual, being assault or any form that would have occurred around this period of the taking of the confession by Colonel Mboto.
Kodwa ke nalapho ke kulokho ke akukho nje lapha khona ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso awayephambi koKenel Mboto umsolo wokuqala ukuthi khona awakusho awakhuluma ke Colonel Mboto ukuthi washaya.
I just want to show you exhibit NN, which are extracts of the OB entries that we've referred to from Diepkloof police station, which appears on page 1, and from Valeria police station, which appears from page 2 onwards, and from Albertine police station, which appears from page 17. If you can identify.
Yes, my Lord. So the first exhibit relates indeed to the report or an entry that was made on the 30th of May 2020 at 23:58.
Ukuqala ke ubhaliwe ke lana mayela naloko kwabhalwa ke ngazo date sorry nge-30 zika May 2020 isikhathi ke 23:58.
And it mentions the name of the accused as well as the colonel that took the confession.
Ibhaliwe ke igama lakhe umsola kanye futhi naye ke uKenneth okuyena owathatha istatement kuyena.
Can you just place the whole contents and record? They are not yet already.
All right, my Lord. So date is Saturday 2020/05/30. That is the date, my Lord. And then the entry, the serial number is 2400. And time is 23:58. The report reads as follows: Colonel Mboto at Diepkloof room 1 at CSC, and confirm statement obtained from Musika Kulelwa Sitemba Sibiya from 1818 Umuzi Squatter Camp in Tembisa. Time in from 21:45 until now.
Lana ke imininingwane ke yayo ke le OB lena ukuthi ngomgqibelo ngeyi30 zika May 2020 isikhathi ke u23:58 ebusuku ke umbiko ke uKennel Mbotho eDeep Kloof room 1 SCSCS yasho ke ukuthi istatement esathola kuyena ke umuzika ukhulelwa Sitemba Sibiya oka 1818 Busumuzi Esquatter Camp ethembisa isikhathi ke u21:45 kuze kube manje.
Until now, will be the time of the entry. What is the time here?
The time of the entry is 23:58, my lord.
Isikhathi ke sibhalwe lana ke ukuthi sabhaya bhalana nike lokho kwaku 23:58.
Yes. And on page 2, you confirm that from page 2 up to about page 16, those are the entries from Vilera police station. They are already on record.
Yes, I do confirm, my lord.
Ukusuka ke na ke page 2 ke kusabe page 16 ilokho ke mayelana ke nama entry nama obhaliwe ke kwase Vilera police station.
I do confirm, my lord. Yes.
And from page 7 to 18, which also serves as exhibit KK before court, you confirm that those are entries from Alberton police station. It's 17 and 18.
17 and 18.
Yes,
yes, I do confirm, my lord.
Ngiyaqinisekisa ke nokuthi ke page 17 no 18 kona ke obhaliwe lapha ke mayelana ke ne police station yase Alberton.
I do confirm, my lord.
Yes, thereafter, what happened?
So, insofar as accused 1, my lord's conviction, that was basically that. What proceeded were matters that were investigated pending against him. Insofar as the confessions that he made, my lord, I then followed further investigation to collaborate and see if one can collaborate the confessions that he made. So there were parallel investigation. Insofar as the confessions, it was to follow what was mentioned, to collaborate and obtain independent evidence, and then the matters that he was charged for were then proceeding in different courts, my lord.
Kwaba yilokho okumayelana ke nokugonyuluka kwakhe ke umsolo wokuqala amanye ke amacala ayiphathelene amanye amacala ke ayephenywa ngakuyena ke mina ngase ngiqhubeka ke nophenyo ke ubheka ke ukuthi manje onokunye engakuthola yini okungahlangana noma okuhlanganisa ke nalokho ayesekukhulumile ke lokho akhulumile kuyena ke uKennel Mbotho namanye ke amacala la ayebhekene nawo ke nawo aqhubeka ephenywa.
Yes.
My lord, insofar as this matter that is before court, he was formally charged in October, I think 26th of October 2020. That is where the charges formally were brought for the first time against him, insofar as this matter that is before court.
Mayelana ke necala leli ke eliphambi kwenkantolo ke manje cabanga ukuthi ke uma esecharge noma ke esevela ke phambi kwenkantolo nge26 October 2020 esiyobingelela ke imanje manje ebingelela lona icala leli eliphambi kwenkantolo njengamanje.
Yes,
and that arrest, my lord, took place after the matter was submitted to the DPP in the form of presentation after the collection of all evidence that was obtained, sent for the decision. A decision to indict the accused together with other accused was issued. I then subsequently applied for the warrant of arrest J50s for the relevant accused, and such was then authorized and granted by the Boksburg Magistrate Court.
Lokho kwenzeka ke emuva kokuthi manje ke ufakazi sebuqoqiwe ke kuhlanganisiwe bandawonye ke kwase kundluliselwa ke kwihhovisi labeshushisi ke elibizwa ngokuthi ke iDPP ukuthi ke bathathe ke isinqumo ke manje sokuthi bayashushisa noma cha. Emuva kwalokho ke la isinqumo esathathwa khona ke ngase ngenza ke isicelo ke sayo ke iwarrant of arrest ukuthi J50 lo esicelo leso ke eyisaba impumelelo ke enkantolo yase Boksburg. Base ke charge ke noma babingelela abayaboshwa ke kanye nabanye futhi abasolwa.
And do you still remember when they appeared in court?
I think it would have been, I'm not sure, my lord, either 26 or 27 of October 2020.
ilanga noma idate ke anginayiqiniseko sayo kungabe bakunge 26 noma nge 27 ka October 2020.
Yes, we will come back to this issue in due course. Before the accused appeared in court, we're talking about accused number 1 was a statement obtained from him, a warning statement.
Yes, it was obtained. The warning statement was obtained from him. It was taken by me, my lord, and he signed, my lord, the said warning statement.
Ngaphambilini kokuthi ayovela ke inkantolo ingaba ke istatement la exwayiswa khona ke noma ke lokubizwa ngokuthi ke i-warning statement sathathwa yini kuyena umsolo wokuqala? Yebo, sathathwa yimina ke futhi.
We'll come back to this aspect also in due course. Now, as far as accused number 2 is concerned, when did you first become aware of his arrest?
On the 16th of June 2020, my lord, and that is when I was informed by Sergeant Mukhane.
Ukwazi kwami ke ngokuboshwa kwakhe umsolo wesibili ke kona ke ngakwazi lokho nge-16 ka June 2020 ngikwaziswa uyena uSergeant Mukhane.
Yes, then what happened further?
My lord, I do know that I had a first interaction with accused number 2 on the 18th of June 2020 in Carltonville for the first time.
Engikwaziyo ke ukuthi ukuhlanganyela kwami ke noma ke ukuhlangana nami okokuqala ke kanye nomsolo wesibili ke kwakunge-18 ka June 2020 eCarltonville.
He was still in detention, my lord, and he was in a company of Sergeant Mukhane and the late Sergeant Mapena.
Wayese sesitokisini ke ngaleso sikhathi ke futhi ke ekanye naye uSergeant Mukhane no sengasekho noma owashona ke uSergeant Mapena.
My lord, I was introduced to him, whereby then I also introduced myself by showing him my appointment card, warn him according to his Section 35 Act 108 of 1996 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, my lord.
Ngethula kuyena nami ke ngazethula ke kuyena ngokuthi ngimtshengise ke ikhadi lami elikhombisayo ke ukuthi ke ngiyiphoyisa ngase futhi ngimexwayiswa ke ngamalungelo akhe anawo ngokomthetho sisekelo u108 ka35 1996.
I felt
Yes, just before we get to that, what led to you going to Carltonville on the 18th of June 2020?
It was the fact that Sergeant Mukhane informed me that they will be going there for other investigations, but also in relation to a certain alibi that he may have given them in relation to this matter, my lord.
Umshushu sifisa ukwazi ukuthi kwakungani ke ukuthi uye khona ke eCarltonville ngazo i20 zika June 2020 ukuthi ke uSergeant Mukhane wangitshela ke ukuthi babe lapho ke beyokwenza ke uphenyo nokuthi ke futhi ababengitshela uyena umsolo wesibili ukuthi ke ukhona ke awayebanikeze khona ke esho ukuthi yena ke waye khona lapho kuleyo ndawo leyo.
Thank you. May continue.
My lord, so after the warning that was given to him in terms of Section 35, I established as to what he wants to do. It was clear, my lord, that he is prepared to talk to me without an attorney, and he didn't choose the right to remain silent, my lord, and he did not elect to remain silent, rather, my lord.
Emuva kokuthi ngixwayisileke silimchazeleke ngamalungelo akhe ke anawo kwacaca ke ukuthi ke wayengayimiseleke ukuthi ngase ngimbuza ukuthi uyimisela ukuthi yini ke ayinqumayo noma isinqumo sithathayo washo ukuthi wayengayimiseleke ukuthi angathula futhi wayengayimiseleke nokuthi futhi ke angathi abe nommeli.
Yes.
And just for record purposes, Brigadier, can you just place on record the warning that you administered to him in terms of Section 35.
My Lord, it was the right to remain silent, the first one. The right not to give self-incriminating evidence. The right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, to have a state a state provide one for him at the state's expense.
Nokuthi-ke unelungelo-ke lokuthi abe nommeli uma kuwukuthi-ke imali-ke ayikho yokuthi-ke akhokhele ummeli loyo-ke ukuthi-ke umbuso ungamqokela-ke ummeli umbuso uyakhokha ukhokhela loyo mmeli.
And a right to challenge the legality of his detention, and if so, the interest of justice permits that he should be released from such detention, my Lord.
Nelungelo futhi-ke lokuthi-ke alwisaneke noma-ke aphikisaneke nendlela-ke agcinwe esitokisini ngayo, nokuthi uma kuwukuthi-ke ubulungiswa buvumela-ke uma kutholakala ukuthi-ke akavalelwe ngendlela efanelekile ukuthi unelungelo lokuthi-ke adedelwe.
Yes, my Lord.
Yes, what happened after you explained his rights to him?
My Lord, after I explained his rights, I do recall that I had already told him, my Lord, as well, that he was a person of interest, or that I was sitting with information that indicates that he was also involved in the killing of Senzo Meyiwa.
Kodwa-ke okunye ngifisa nje ukuthi ngikusho ukuthi ngase ngimtshelileke ukuthi noma-ke nginalo lwazi enginalo-ke noma le information enginayo-ke ukuthi-ke naye-ke uyambandakanyeka noma wayengxenye-ke ekubulaweni kwakhe uSenzo Meyiwa.
The response, my Lord, was that he was at work specifically on the 26th of October 2014 when the said incident happened. He was able to give me that date out of his own, if I put it to him.
Ngaphambilini nje kokuthi-ke idate le yange-26 October 2014 mina ngiyisho noma ngiyichaze kuyena-ke yaphuma kuyena-ke wathi yena-ke nge-26 October 2014 wayesemsebenzini.
My Lord, and the workplace he referred to was Sibanya Mine, which I found them not far from there, so I requested that we enter the premises and go to the HR department with him, my Lord.
Futhi-ke indawo lena yomsebenzi ayekhuluma ngayo noma ayisho kwakuyisibanye Mines eyangekudeke la esasikhona-ke ngase ngicela ukuthi asiye khona-ke siyeke kwa-HR.
And the purpose, my Lord, was to confirm this alibi he was giving us.
Injongo kwakuhamba-ke siyoqinisekisa lokhu awayesitshela khona-ke noma awayekusho kuthina-ke ukuthi wayelapho.
Upon making inquiries, my Lord, it was found that he was not there, my Lord. In fact, he left the work premises on the 25th after clocking on duty for only 2 hours.
Kodwa-ke uma sesilapho-ke kwatholakala-ke ukuthi cha kwakungasilona-ke iqiniso lelo ukuthi-ke ngazo i-26 zika-October 2014 wayengekho lapho emsebenzini. Esakuthola ukuthi-ke wahamba-ke ngazo i-25 zika-October 2014 emuva kokuthi-ke esekhokile noma engenileke nje amahora amabili.
My Lord, there was further no indication as to why he left in such a short notice given to us, my Lord, in his presence.
Futhi-ke okunye esingazange sikutholeke ukuthi kwakungani ukuthi-ke washesha-ke ukuthi ahambe noma-ke kwisikhathi nje esincane lokho sikutshelwa-ke ekhona ukuthi abakaze babengasazi isizathu ukuthi-ke asheshe ahambe.
I further learned, my Lord, that he only returned to work I think around the 2nd or the 3rd of November 2020. So he was absent all the way until November, my Lord. Sorry, not 2020, 2014.
The 2nd or the 3rd.
2nd or the 3rd of November 2014.
Okunye futhi-ke engathola noma esakuthola-ke ukuthi-ke nanjengoba wayehambile-ke ngazo i-25 October 2014 wahamba-ke waze wayobuya mhlampe ngazo i-2 noma i-3 zika-November 2014.
As a court, please, my Lord, as we indicated earlier on, may this evidence be provisionally allowed, subject to either Mr. Mulder being recalled or an admission be made in this regard. Regarding the clocking records and the leave arrangement for accused number 2.
Yes, Mr.
Yes. You may proceed.
No objection. No objection.
I have no objection, thank you.
No objection for provisional allowance.
No objection.
Okay, Mr. Mulder.
Yes. Hendrik Mulder.
Yes. My Lord, indeed, Mr. Mulder was the gentleman who was eventually assisting and disposing an affidavit to this effect, but on a different day. I think it was the 22nd of June when he gave the actual affidavit in relation to these findings.
Empeleni-ke uMr Mulder lo ekhulunywa ngaye-ke lana kwakuyena-ke owayesiza-ke mayelana-ke nale mininingwane-ke futhi-ke owathi-ke ngazo i-22 kuJuni-ke wase enikeza-ke ngaso-ke istatimende esifungelwe noma lokhu kuthiwa-ke i-affidavit.
Oh yes, my Lord. What also became clear when we were making inquiries is that in that facility, my Lord, they have what they call a clocking system. So, for example, if you are not at work but you are still within the premises of the mine, you will have to clock in various gates, which detect your movement, even when you go to the canteen, in other words, to have food. So when you are not inside the premises, because apparently the worker stays in those premises, they are able to detect that there was not clock in any of the entrances until the first clocking was picked up around the 2nd or the 3rd of November. So in other words, it was said with beyond a reasonable doubt that the last time he was there was the 25th of October 2014 when he left after 2 hours reporting on duty and returning for the first time in either of the 2 days of November 2014, my Lord.
Okunye futhi-ke esakuthola-ke ukuthi-ke khona lapho-ke uma usebenza lapho banale system-ke abayisebenzisayo-ke la ukulokha khona-ke awuklokhi nje kuphela-ke uma kuwukuthi usemsebenzini ngoba-ke sathola ukuthi abasebenzi-ke bahlala khona lapho noma kuwukuthi-ke uya ecanteen ukulokha khona-ke kwelinye lamagate noma amagate asetshenziswayo engena kuwona noma ukuthi-ke umuntu uyodla-ke uyaklokha. So kwatholakala-ke lokho ukuthi-ke ngesiqinisekiso-ke ukuthi-ke ilanga lokugcina awayengalo laphayana kwakungeyi-25 zika-October 2014 la aphuma khona-ke emuva kwamahora amabili wase futhi ebuya-ke kulama-date amabili engiwashilo-ke ukuthi yi-2 noma yi-3 kuNovember 2014.
So in essence, my Lord, the alibi was false.
Ukusho njena-ke ukuthi-ke lokhu ayesitshele kona ukuthi ngelanga langeyi-26 October 2014 wayesemsebenzini kwakuwamanga.
My Lord, I confronted him with this finding which were obviously before his presence and he could not give any other explanation, my Lord.
Ngase mina-ke manje sengiqondana naye-ke mayelana nalokhu-ke manje esasikutshelwa-ke sikutshelwa ekhona-ke akazange akhoneke noma kwazike ukuthi angichazele.
My Lord, I further confronted him with the sketch plan that was in the docket, where it was alleged that 2 suspects went into the house. This is now when the incident took place. One was wearing a hoodie and the one had dreadlocks. So I confronted him with the second suspect that was wearing a hoodie.
Okay. Ngase manje-ke sengibonana naye-ke noma sengikhulumisana naye-ke ngaso i-sketch plan esasiyingxenye yedokodo la khona-ke ekwakhulunywa ngabalisi ababili abangena endlini ukuthi-ke omunye wayenama-dreadlocks omunye-ke wayefake noma-ke egqoke ihudi. Mina-ke ngaqondana naye-ke noma ngakhulumisana naye mayelana nalo owayegqoke ihudi.
Yes, and I informed him, my Lord, that I'm of the view or suspicion that the suspect depicted with the hoodie resembles him, my Lord.
Ngase ngimtshela-ke ukuthi mina-ke owami-ke umcabango noma-ke iy'nsolo zami-ke kwakuwukuthi-ke lona-ke ofake noma ogqoke ihudi ufana naye.
We just want to show you the ID kit which has been headed up as Exhibit Exhibit BB.
Yes, my Lord, it is the one that I showed him. And the accused on my left with the hoodie, that's the identity that I showed him, my Lord.
Yona-ke lona-ke engamtshengisa yona-ke futhi-ke umsola lona-ke ongaku-left wami-ke ogqoke ihudi uyena-ke lo ekhuluma ngayo.
Yes.
My Lord, the response that I recall was that he was aware of such a plan, a sketch plan. I don't know from where, but he said he was aware, and he think it's a question of mistaken identity.
Engikhumbulayo ekusho ke ukuthi ke wayenalo ke ulwazi lwaso lesi sketch plan engazi ke ukuthi wayelithole kuphi ke kodwa wakusho ke nokuthi ke nje ucabanga nje ukuthi cha kwenziwa iphutha ke.
My Lord, I warned him again with his constitutional rights again and advised him that it will be in his best interest to tell the truth, as these things, the alibis which are not materializing, will work against him at the later stage, and said we can leave it at that.
Ngase ngimxwayisa futhi ke ngawo kamalungelo akhe ke futhi sengimtshela ke futhi ke ukuthi ke kuzomsiza ke ukuthi manje ke akhulume ke iqiniso ngoba ke lokhu akushilo ukuthi yena ke wayekuphi ke akusebenzile kuyatholakala ukuthi ke futhi akusilona iqiniso nokuthi lokhu ke kusengahamba hambeke kusetshenziswe ngakuyena ke.
My Lord, as I was walking away, I was then called back. I think one of the members, the sergeant, called me back and says, accused number 2 wants to speak to me.
Ngase sishoke ukuthi ke asikiyeke noma sikushiye lapho ke ngathi ke uma sengihamba ke ngabizwa omunye ke koza kwethu noma ke osargent laba ababili ke bethi ke umsolwa ke ufisa ukukhuluma nami.
My Lord, when I went back to him, the utterances he made were tantamounting to confession as well.
Uma sengibuyela kuyena ke lokho akusho ungasho ke ukuthi ke manje kwakusekugonyuluka.
I warned him again, my Lord, in light of what he was saying and the fact that such can be used against him. He said he understands, but he just wants to tell the truth because the lies are not working for him.
Ngase ngimxwayisa ke ukuthi ke ngimxwayisa futhi ke ngimtshela ke futhi ukuthi lokho kungasetshenziswa ke ngakuyena ke njengobufakazi wathi ke uyakuzwa ke lokho noma ke uyakuzwisisa ke nokuthi ke ufisa nje ukuthi akhulume iqiniso ngoba ke amanga awamsebenzeli.
My Lord, I also established that he was, during our interaction, prepared also to make a confession to an independent police officer or official.
Futhi ke masikhulumisana ke futhi ngathola ke ukuthi wayemisele ke ukuthi ke ayokhuluma ke nephoyisa ke lalingahlangene ke nalokho.
Just a minute.
We parted, my Lord, with the understanding that I will arrange such an officer and then arrange with Sergeant, or rather inform Sergeant Mufane to take him or make arrangements for him to be taken to such an independent officer once such has been found, my Lord.
Sahlukana ke ngokuthi ngangizo kwenzaka isiqinisekiso ke ukuthi ke kuyenzeka ke lokho noma ke siyamthola ke umuntu nokuthi ke futhi ke uSergeant Mukhane wayezomhambisa ke noma uSergeant Mukhane ke aqiniseke aqenzeke isiqinisekiso sokuthi ke uyahanjiswa uma ukuthi loyo muntu leyo usetholakele.
These utterances, my Lord, prior to us departing from each other were made by accused number 2 free and voluntarily, and there was no undue influence to rest, my Lord.
Lokhu akusho ngaphambilini kokuthi sihlukaneke kushiwo yena umsolo wesibili wakusho ekhululekile ukuphuma kuyena futhi ke kungekho nje ukuthi ke kube nomthelela engasiwona ke noma ke ongalindelekile noma ongemuhle.
My Lord, I then left. I think I arrived there with Sergeant Mokola, and then I left back to the Gauteng province.
I
made numerous calls, my Lord, trying to find an officer that could be available, but eventually, I think at midnight or morning hours of the 19th, I was able to find Lieutenant Colonel Rapari.
Ngikhumeneke nabantu ke abahlukeneke ngokuthi ke ngenhloso noma injongo yokuthi ke ngithole ke umuntu owayezosiza noma ezolekelela ke kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi ke kwakusebusuku noma ke entathakusa ngathola ke uLieutenant Colonel Rapadu.
He advised me, my Lord, that he can assist and that the accused 2 should be brought to Moroka ACPS that morning and they will meet him there.
washo-ke ukuthi angakusona-ke isimo sokuthi angalekelela noma angasiza-ke nokuthi-ke umsolo wesibili-ke uzocela ukuthi-ke alethwe-ke e-police station yaseMoroka uzohlangana naye lapho.
My Lord, I did the same exercise as I did with Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe, whereby I connected both parties, Nara with Sergeant Mokhane, with Lieutenant Colonel Rapado, as he'll be the one that will be transporting accused number 2 to Moroka.
Ngenza-ke ngalendlela engangenze ngayo-ke kuyena phakathi kwakhe uLieutenant Colonel Hadebe kanye naye uSergeant Mokhane nakuyena-ke uLieutenant Colonel Rapado kanye noMokhane ngenza ngaleyo ndlela ukuthi-ke ngikhulumisane nabo bobabili-ke nanjengokuthi uMokhane kwakuyena wayezomhambisa.
I also know, my Lord, that on that day, accused number 2 was scheduled to appear in Phosphorus, to be taken to Phosphorus court, insofar as the briefing that was given to me by Sergeant Mokhane.
Ngokwalokho-ke engakutshelwa uyena-ke uSergeant Mokhane ngangazi-ke ukuthi ngalelo langa lelo-ke umsolo wesibili kwakufanele ukuthi-ke ayobingelela imantshi inkantolo yase-Phosphorus.
Just a minute. Yes.
My Lord, it is also prudent to mention that the reason of his detention on the 16th of June 2020 was in relation, I think, to a murder case of Nongoma, not this matter before court.
Futhi ngicabanga ukuthi-ke kufanelekile ukuthi ngikusho-ke ukuthi ukugcina kwakhe noma-ke ukuba sesitokisini kwakhe-ke ngazo i-16 June 2020 kwakumayelana-ke necala lokubulala la kwaNongoma kungasilona leli icala eliphambi kwenkantolo njengamanje.
He too, my Lord, was arraigned together with accused number 1 in October 2014 when they then made their first appearance in Boksburg in relation to this matter for the first time.
Naye-ke nanjengaye-ke umsola wokuqala-ke wavela-ke ngazo i-26 ku-October 2014 kuyona inkantolo yase-Boksburg.
And it was after also, my Lord, the warrant of arrest in relation to this matter was issued and executed, where now he then made a first appearance in Boksburg Magistrate Court, my Lord.
Nakuyena-ke kwakusemva kokuthi-ke kusekwenziwe-ke isicelo ukuthi-ke kutholakale-ke imadi-ke egunyazisa-ke ukuboshwa kwakhe abakubiza ngokuthi-ke i-warrant of arrest ukuthi-ke seyobingelela-ke imantshi e-Boksburg.
If you can take it to the events of the 19th of June 2020.
Yes, my Lord.
Yes, can we focus on that?
Noted, my Lord. Yes. My Lord, then in the morning I was informed by Sergeant Mokhane that indeed accused number 2 was taken to Colonel Rapado at Moroka.
Ngazo-ke i-19 lezo-ke ngatshelwa-ke uyena uSergeant Mokhane ukuthi impela-ke umsola wesibili-ke wahanjiswa-ke wayohlangana naye-ke uKolonel Rapado eMoroka.
My Lord, it is also important to mention that Colonel Rapado also was independent from these investigations.
Kubalulekile-ke nokusho-ke ukuthi-ke yena uKolonel Rapado-ke wayengahlangeneke nalo uphenyo lolu.
Furthermore, that I have never worked with him in my entire career, my Lord.
Nokuthi-ke angikaze njengiyiphoyisa-ke ngisebenze naye uKolonel Rapado.
And then lastly, my Lord, that the first time I actually spoke to him was telephonically, and the first time I actually laid eyes or saw his face was when I went to collect the confession form in his Enadale office, I think 2 days after, but it's depicted in the statement that he gave me. So that was the first time we actually came face to face, my Lord.
Nokuthi-ke futhi kokuqala ngikhulumisana naye-ke kwangelanga ngikhuluma naye-ke sikhuluma-ke ngocingo nokuthi okokuqala ngibonana naye-ke ukuthi kwakungelanga ngiya-ke kwihhovisi lakhe-ke e-Enadale. Ngicabanga ukuthi-ke amalanga amabili-ke seqedile-ke ukuthatha isitatimende lesi kumsolo wesibili ila ngaqala khona-ke ukuthi ngimbone noma sibonane.
just want to show you a document which has been handed up as Exhibit HH. Can you just identify that for the court?
Yes, my lord. So it is indeed the pro forma that I received from Colonel Rapadu, as well as his statement.
Iyona-ke pro forma lena-ke engayithola kuyena uKolonel Rapadu kanye nestatement sakhe.
Yes, the second exhibit, my lord, relates to the statement made by Colonel Rapadu. He also gave it to me together with the pro forma and its annexures, my lord.
Lena-ke iform-ke iyona-ke lena anginikeza yona-ke uKolonel Rapadu ihamba nayo-ke pro forma kanye nestatement.
Yes, what happened further?
My lord, Colonel Rapadu informed me, I think it was just before or very close to 12 midday, that it was done. This was telephonically, and that I should come and obtain or get this pro forma at his Enadale office, my lord.
Wangitshela-ke ngicabanga ukuthi nje kwakungaphambilini nje ukuthi-ke kubumbane-ke ihora leshumi nambili ukuthi-ke useqedile-ke yena uKolonel Rapadu nokuthi-ke angize ngizothatha-ke yona-ke iform noma ipro forma lena kuyihhovisi lakhe elise-Enadale.
My lord, I was also told such by Sergeant Mufane, and I was told that they are now proceeding to Phosphorus Court for the first appearance of accused number 2.
Lokho-ke ngakutshela nawe yena-ke uSergeant Mufane nokuthi manje-ke babesendleleni-ke eya enkantolo ePhosphorus la khona-ke umsolo wesibili wayeyobingelela-ke imantshi ihlandla lokuqala.
My lord, I was later informed that insofar as the Phosphorus matter, the matter was not enrolled.
Ngatshelwa-ke ukuthi mayelake nalelo cala lelo abebelihambela beyela-ke enkantolo kwatholakala ukuthi-ke alukho kuhla lwamacala lwalelo langa enkantolo.
Are you familiar with the matter that was not enrolled?
My lord, I was told, I am familiar in the sense that I know it related to drugs-related offenses, but the one that he was charged for, sorry my lord, I beg your pardon, the Nongoma, it's a matter of Nongoma. Yes, I'm familiar with it. That's the charge he was arrested for. But I know that in Phosphorus, he was also, they were trying to combine him with another matter that was already on the roll in that matter, my lord, in that court, sorry.
Engikwaziyo ukuthi yebo-ke nginolwazi-ke nginalo-ke mayelana necala leli-ke lokubulala lokwaNongoma, kodwa-ke engikwaziyo futhi ukuthi-ke ePhosphorus babe inhloso yabo kwakuthi-ke bahlanganiseke kanye nelinye futhi-ke icala-ke abayebhekene nalo.
And also the intention, my lord, I know that it was to place him insofar as the Nongoma matter and transfer him back to KZN, my lord.
Okunye futhi engikwaziyo-ke ukuthi-ke leli labaNongoma-ke icala-ke babehlose ukuthi-ke bahambiseke ukuthi aye khona-ke eKZN.
Yes.
My lord, we then...
what transpired?
The matter was not enrolled, my lord, as I said, and then insofar as the court proceedings, that's what I was told, my lord.
Mayelana-ke nalokho kwenzeka-ke enkantolo yilokho-ke ekwashiwo kumina-ke ukuthi-ke icala lalingekho-ke kuhla lwamacala.
And the docket, where is it currently?
It is available, my lord. At the time when Sergeant Mufane testified, we were struggling to find it because it was reassigned to another member, but it has subsequently been found, my lord, so it's available. That is now the Nongoma matter. The one of Phosphorus, my lord, it went to the prosecution for decision, and there seems to be a struggle in locating it, but the Nongoma docket is available, my lord.
Leli-ke elakwaNongoma idokodo lona-ke litholakele-ke okwenzeka-ke ngesikhathi uSergeant Mufane enikeza ngobufakazi bakhe-ke kwakuwukuthi idokodo lelo linikezwe enye imembe noma elinye-ke iphoyisa, kodwa selize latholakala-ke, kodwa icala leli lona-ke lasePhosphorus lalihanjisiwe, idokodo lelo lona-ke lalihanjisiwe linikezwe abeshushisi ukuthi kuthathwe-ke isinqumo alikatholakali-ke manje namakazi wake ukuthi likuphi nendawo.
Yes, and what is its current status, the Nongoma docket?
My lord, is under investigation on our side because accused number 2 is still a person of interest in that matter, my lord.
Lelo icala lakwaNongoma lisaphenywa-ke ngakolwethu-ke uhlangothi-ke ngoba-ke umthwalo wesibili-ke kuse umuntu-ke obhekiwe-ke mayelana nalelo cala lelo sisaliphenya.
Did you say the intention was that the Nongoma matter would also be enrolled on the 19th of June 2020?
Yes, and transferred back to Nongoma, my lord. And the reason for that particular reason, my lord, it was established that in Nongoma there was already a suspect in custody for the same matter, so it was basically to put them together. But it seems the prosecution had a different view in terms of what was contained in the docket, hence it was not enrolled.
Mayelana-ke nalo icala lakwaNongoma ngishilo-ke ukuthi-ke inhloso kwakuwukuthi-ke nalo-ke libe kuhla lwamacala-ke bese kuyandluliselwa-ke ukuhlola khona kwaNongoma nama-ke e-KZN ngoba-ke wayesekhona-ke umsolwa owayesengaphakathi esitokisini kulona lelo cala-ke manje babebheke ukuthi-ke base bayabahlanganisa-ke kulona icala lelo kodwa kwabonakala-ke ukuthi-ke abashushisi-ke manje bona-ke banovo oluhlukile-ke ingakho-ke lingabanga khona-ke kuhla lwamacala ngalelo langa lelo.
Yes, and the cast number for the Nongoma docket?
I wouldn't know. I think I know it's 163. I don't remember the month and the year, my lord.
163 inyanga-ke kanye nonyaka angikhumbulike kulona leli lakwaNongoma.
I just want to show you Exhibit VV, which has been handed up by the defense. Are you familiar with the document?
Yes, my lord, I am. It does reflect the case number that I referred to. So I see it's 163 of 10, 2018, my lord.
Ngiyabona ukuthi case number lana-ke 163 10 2018 kuleli lakwaNongoma icala.
Although, my lord, I don't know how this was found. I'm not so sure about the ethical procedure of finding it. I really don't know. But anyway, the case number is correct. I'm just concerned as to how it was printed because information of the police, I don't know how it ended up in the defense hand because this is not how we communicate such information. We would have gladly given it to them, so I'm suspicious of the manner in which this person, if it is indeed this person, generated this printout. However, the cast number, I do recall, is the correct one.
Lana-ke, i-case number lena-ke ngasho ukuthi iyona-ke. Insolo zami-ke kuphela-ke ukuthi-ke yindlela-ke lemininingwane lena etholakele ngayo ukuthi-ke uma kuwukuthi-ke uyena-ke lo muntu-ke obhaliwe-ke khona la ngoba-ke akusiyona-ke indlela thina-ke sicommunicate ngayo singamaphoyisa-ke ngoba ukuba kuwukuthi bayicelile-ke noma bayifunile kuthina-ke sasizobanika kodwa hhayi ngale ndlela-ke esiprintwe ngayo noma ekhishwe ngayo.
Particularly, my lord, because I know the investigating officer who was dealing with this matter up to the time it was finalized that side, and it's not the person mentioned here.
Nokuthi futhi-ke umphenyi-ke waleli cala-ke ngiyamazi-ke kwaze kwayisikhathi la khona-ke icala leli liqedwa khona-ke ngale futhi kungasiyena-ke lona obhaliwe noma olapha.
Has that matter since been finalized?
Yes, it's been finalized, and the person that was at the time when we were busy, that was on the roll, has been convicted, my lord. But also that person statements was obtained by us. That was in relation to this investigation, the matter before court, and that statement was attached in the docket, which has been disclosed to the defense, and also in relation to he was questioned about this matter. So that person has been sentenced, my lord.
Lana-ke yebo ngishilo ukuthi icala leli selaphethwa-ke nokuthi-ke futhi lo muntu-ke walahla-ke icala leli awayebhekene nalo-ke futhi nestatement-ke sasithola-ke kuloyo muntu loyo mayelana-ke nalolu daba lelo siliphenya kanye futhi nalolu-ke oluphambi kwayo-ke inkantolo lena.
And he is known, my lord, to accuse 1 and 2.
Futhi-ke lo muntu lona-ke u-accuse number 1 noma umsolo wokuqala nowesibili bayamazi.
Yes, you may proceed.
So then, my lord, later then we arranged, because there was an issue of the hoodie that was depicted there, that there will be a follow-up made to find that hoodie. That is now on the 19th after the proceeding. So we agreed that we will meet in, I think it's Northwest, to follow up the hoodie. I instructed Sergeant Mokhane to meet me at the police station of Phokeng SAPS, my lord.
Okunye futhi ke kwakuwukuthi ke manje kwakusethathwe nesinqumo ke ukuthi manje kwavela ke lo daba lalo hoodie ebutshengisiwe ke khona lana ukuthi ke manje kuzoyobhekwa yona ke ihoodie leyo ngase ngikhulumisana noma sengisho ke kuyena Sergeant Mokhane ukuthi ke asihlanganeke epolice station yase Phokeng.
My lord, I do know also that he made a report to me that I think there was something that Sergeant Mabena forgot, so they had to go to Moroka SAPS back to look for something, but then later, which was much later, we met, they found me at Phokeng police station.
Ngiyakhumbula ukuthi kukhona akusho kumina uSergeant Mokhane ukuthi ikho kukhona ke lokhu okwaphohlwa uyena uSergeant Mabena khona ke eMoroka kodwa ke mase sihambile ke isikhathi sahlangana khona epolice station yase Phokeng.
My lord, I requested, obviously after reporting and following all the formalities of the ACPS, I requested the cluster section of that area, insofar as the address that we wanted to go to accompany us to the said address together with accused number 2, my lord, and of which they did.
Emuva kokuthi konke sekwenziwe ke ku police station leyo ke esafikela kuyona ke ngase ngicela ke ukuthi ke icluster ke eyalapho noma ke ophethe ke lapho ke ukuthi ke basiphelezeleke ukuthi siye ke kukheli lelo ke noma la esasihlose ukuthi siye khona sihamba naye umsolo wesibili.
My lord, we arrived at a certain residential area which was identified by accused number 2, where the members then went in to search for such a hoodie. I was outside making calls, my lord.
Safika ke kuleyo ndawo leyo ke indawo leyo esayitshengiswa uyena umsolo wesibili amalunga ke noma ke ama-member ke angena ke ngaphakathi ke eyosesha ke noma eyobheka yona ke ihoodie mina ngasala ngaphandle ngoba ngangenza ke ama-calls.
So upon your arrival at Phokeng, where did you start?
At the police station, my lord, Phokeng SAPS.
Uma sifika ePhokeng saqala epolice station.
What time?
Yeah, my lord, it will be in the evening. But prior to midnight, I'm not sure about the time. The timeline, my lord.
Anginaso ke isiqiniseko sesikhathi kodwa kwakusebusuku ke kodwa bangaphambi nje ukuthi ke libumbane ke ihora ke leshumi nambili.
Yes.
So yes, my lord. So I said then they then went in, my lord. They were also in the company of the local police officers. In other words, officers from Phokeng who then went in as well.
Bangena ke uma bengena lapho ke babehamba nawo ke amaphoyisa ase Phokeng.
I was later informed, my lord, that the hoodie could not be found, but what was found was ammunition that the accused 2 could not explain or produce a license to possess such.
Ngatshelwa ke ukuthi ke ihoodie ke le ababeyibheka abazange bayithola kodwa okwatholakala ke kwatholakala inhlamvu lezo ke abathi uma bembuza ngazo ke umsolo wesibili ke akakhonanga ke ukuthi abachazele ngazo.
My lord, the process was then followed to open a case of possession of unlicensed ammunition, and the docket of Phokeng was then opened and assigned to Sergeant Mokhane to carry on with that investigation.
Kwasevulwa ke idokodo manje noma sekulandelwa ke inhlelo ke ukuthi kuvulwe ke idokodo noma icala ke mayelana nokutholakala kwalezo inhlamvu lezo nokuthi ke uSergeant Mokhane aqhubekeke ukuthi kube uyena ke owenza lelo phenyo lelo.
My lord, he was initially detained at Phokeng as the requirements so detect, and then transferred to Primrose SAPS. And in those detention in Phokeng, as well as the receiving police station, that is Primrose, he was both detained and booked out with no injuries, and also received at Primrose with no complaints and injuries, my lord.
Nokuthi nanjengoba ke inhlelo ke zikulindele ukuthi kwenzeke ukuthi ke wase faka khona ke stokshini ePhokeng nokuthi ke manje usezondluliselwa ke ePrimrose. bona omabili-ke lama police station uma egcinwa khona lapho-ke bemamukela futhi nesebemkhipha nangale bemthatha-ke ePrimrose wathola kwabhaliwe ukuthi cha wayengalimele.
Yes. So I wanted to say, my Lord, I know this because the copies of the OBs in the relevant stations were also obtained, and I believe it was made available to the defense as well.
Ngiyakwazi-ke lokho ngoba-ke amakhophi alama police station amabili-ke engikhuluma ngawo-ke khuluma manje ngayo-ke iPhukeng kanye futhi nayo-ke iPrimrose ngawathola-ke futhi-ke nabameli nawo-ke bawathola.
Furthermore, my Lord, I'll just take the court back insofar as Moroka SCPS. He was not detained, my Lord, but for the ease of reference or at the request of the defense, we also drew the OB and I think SCP-14 from Moroka, which clearly indicates that he was never detained in Moroka SCPS, except for the taking of the confession.
Okunye futhi-ke ngokuya kwakhe-ke eMoroka ngaleliya langa-ke aya khona-ke ngalo nalapho-ke bashoyile-ke noma kubhaliwe-ke ukuthi wayengavalelwe-ke khona lapho kwakuwukuthi nje yebo wayeyile-ke nalokho-ke amakhophi akhona-ke nawo-ke sawathola-ke.
You mentioned that copies of the occurrence book both from Phukeng police station were obtained.
That is correct, my Lord. That is correct, my Lord.
Just want to show you exhibits PP1 and PP2. If you can just identify it.
Yes, they are, my Lord. It is indeed the detention, it is the exhibit PPG that I referred to, my Lord, both in terms of the ACP-10 as well as the ACP-14, the detention register.
Iyona-ke i-register lena-ke ekhuluma-ke ngogcinwa-ke noma kuvalelwa kwapheke khona lapho iyona-ke lena bethiwe ku-PP-10 Okay, exhibit 1, PP1, kanye no PP2.
Yes, and my Lord, it relates to the entry that was made at Phukeng police station when first accused number 2 was detained and then later transferred to Primrose.
Lana-ke ekhuluma-ke ngayo-ke i-police station le yase-Phukeng la khona-ke ewaye egcinwe evalelwe khona-ke wase endluliselwa e-Primrose.
And it also reflects the case number that was opened there, my Lord, which is Phukeng case 118/06/2020 for possession of live ammunition.
Lana-ke bese-ke ne-case number ibhaliwe-ke eku-1 icala lelo elavulwa-ke lapho eli-118/06/20 ukutholakala-ke ney'nhlamvu.
I just want to show you exhibit MM2A, which are the ADL records. For the vehicle used by Sergeant Mukhani. Do you still remember which vehicle he was using?
Yes, I do, my Lord. He was using a white Toyota Fortuner. I think the registration starts with BF, but I'll know when I see the registration numbers. It is an official vehicle, my Lord.
Ngiyazi-ke ukuthi uSergeant Mukhani imoto ayisebenzisa bakuyi-Toyota Fortuner, ngiyazi ukuthi nje ikhala ngo-BF, kodwa-ke uma ngiyibona-ke ngizoyazi ukuthi iyona-ke amanamba lawo.
If I can draw your attention to the AV report for the date 19 June 2020 at 21:53 and 25 seconds.
Can you repeat
Yes,
Can you repeat the times?
21:53 and 20 seconds.
Okay. Yes, so I see it says the date, my lord, is 2020-06-19-21-53, GPS unlocked, booking SAPS, my lord.
Ngiyabona ke la kubhaliwe ngazo i19 kuJune 2020 isikhathi ke u21:53 ama seconds awu25 bese kubhala ke GPS unlocked
And
booking SAPS.
what would that time be?
It's 21. The time depicted here, my lord, is 21:53:25 seconds.
Sona ke isikhathi leso esu21:53 ama seconds awu25.
Yes, you mentioned that you first went to the police station in Bukeng.
Yes. So this will be the time when we were there, my lord. I understand the question now.
Ngiyawuzwa kumbuzo manje ke isona ke isikhathi lesi esasise police station ngaso.
Yes, there's also the time reflected when you arrived at the house. I think it's the next page.
Yes, so that will be 22:33. Yeah, the vehicle then was switched off, my lord. So it's on the same date, 2020-06-19, 22:33 with 41 seconds. The vehicle was then switched off at this Freedom Park. That is the residential area where the house, or rather the place that accused number 2 identified as his place of residence.
Ngazo i19 kuJune 2020 isikhathi ke u22:33 ila ibonisa ikutshengisa khona ukuthi imoto yaqishwa ke ile yandlu ke khona eFreedom Park ile esayikhonjiswa uyena ke umsolwa wesibili.
And what time did you leave Bukeng on the day in question?
My lord, it will be after midnight, because if one look at the exhibit that we just looked at now, that is PP1, exhibit PP1, my lord, one will see that accused number 2 was detained at 0040. In other words, it was already the 20th. The date is 2020-06-20. So that morning, 0040, he was detained formally and then transferred at 0045. So we would have left, okay, I think around midnight, my lord.
Ukuhamba
Freedom Park now, sorry.
Mase sihamba khona ke eFreedom Park ke lokho bakusese muva ke ukuthi ke ligamenge ke eleshumi ihora ngentatha kusala ngoba uma ubheka ke lana uma edetained noma ke evalelwa ke khona kule police station yasePhukeng isikhathi sithi 0040 uma esendluliselwa ke ePrimrose u0045.
We'll get now to the entries from Primrose Police Station, exhibit QQ, just after the long adjournment.
Yes, my lord. My lord, I've also forgot to mention something that insofar as the alibi that accused 2 gave, that is the first alibi to say he was at work on the day of the incident, which was found to be false. There was also another alibi given to us that says he was in Kwanongoma specifically, and he drew some money through a Capitec.
Okay. Okunye nje engikhohliwe ukuthi ngikusho mayelana nalokho okwashiwa uyena ke umsolo wesibili ukuthi ke ngelanga ke lesigameko le wayena ke wayesemsebenzini kwase kutholakala ukuthi lokho kwangasilona iqiniso. Phindile ke washo ukuthi ke yena ke waye kwaNongoma washo ke nokuthi ke wasebenzisa uCapitec la ayekhipha khona imali.
Section 205s were done, my lord, which were then disclosed to the defense, and it was found it is not true, my lord.
Kunesicelo ke lokho ababiza ukuthi usection 205 owenziwa ke abameli bakunikwa ke lokho kwatholakala ke nalapho ukuthi ke bangasilona iqiniso.
So in essence, my lord, this was the second alibi found to be false.
Engishoyo ke manje ukuthi kwakuwo kwesibili ke lokho asitshela khona ke okwatholakala ukuthi akusilona iqiniso.
And what is prudent, my lord, it was said by accused number 2 while he was presented by the council before this court. So it was legal advice, and they put it as his alibi that he requested us to follow. Such was followed and found to be false.
Okunye futhi ke ukuthi lokhu umsolo wesibili ukusho nkathi ke enommeli noma ke ekhona ke umuntu ommeleke phambi kwale nkantolo sase siyacelwa ke ukuthi ke asikulandeleleke noma sibhekeke lokho okuyinto esayenza.
The Capitec bank statements were handed up in the main trial as exhibit DD Annex 1. It will be shown to you in due course.
Yes, my lord.
As a court case, my lord, will this be an appropriate time to take the long agenda? The heat is taking its toll.
Oh, that's okay.
Can we just take?
Okay, 2 o'clock.
I think